Hi there, Scorpio, and welcome back to Bonico Tarot. I am here with what I am calling the post-eclipse check-in to see where we all landed after this eclipse. As a Scorpio rising person, I know that the energies have been really intense for quite some time. We're all being pushed through some pretty big changes, and, I'm tired. But, sometimes you just have to try and go with the flow and go with your own growth, which I know for me has been a big theme. Learning to see things from different perspectives and shifting my awareness around things, trying to get out of old mindsets and old paradigms of thinking. So, without further ado, I will cut the cards. And let's see what's up for Scorpio. And we start out with the Hangman. I can relate, just saying. All right. Well, I have to say that I've been happy to report to most signs that, while there's, some sticky bits, it's not really too terrible. I think the worst has passed in terms of a lot of these shifts and changes. So let's start right from the very beginning. And we have the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is really about, again, not having enough information in order to make a decision. And with the Hanged Man, we see the halo around his head. So that's about enlightenment, and that's about illumination. And I'm going to jump to the other card that kind of parallels it, and that is the High Priestess. So there's a lot of internal reflection. This is solo work too. Like, this is not something you can do in relationship. This is the work we all do when we, reach critical points in our lives. We have to go within. We have to think. We have to process. We have to assess what ways of thinking are still working for us and what things need to change. So you've got the Hangman. So let's go back again. Start from the very beginning. You got the Hangman. It's like, you're thinking about things before you can actually make the move in whatever direction. So what's crossing you, your obstacle, is the Knight of Swords. So communication, cutting communication that is rapid and swift and usually straight to the point. Surgical, which is kind of what Scorpios do, for better or for worse. Your foundation is the Three of Pentacles. So it's about building those first blocks of your own thought, that this isn't necessarily a project, but that your own thinking is being restructured from the ground up. In the past, you have been waiting for things to come to you. And perhaps they haven't. And so you've had to integrate what that means. And maybe think, what about my plan needs a little bit of tweaking in order for the gates to come open and abundance to come freely to you. I know I'm struggling with a bit of the whole idea of lack and the law of attraction. All of it's tricky stuff in terms of our programming. But what Scorpios really have going for them right now is that they're hopeful. And, this is as a result of going within and seeking the enlightenment that Scorpios are often famous for seeking. So, but a lot of the times we kind of have to be pushed to the edge in order to get there. So, there's definitely an inner restructuring, an inner urban renewal happening, because you are the tower. And I mean, how many times has Scorpio seen this come up in a reading? It basically should be a staple. It's just, we should just always get used to rebuilding, tearing down, rebuilding, tearing down, rebuilding. So most Scorpios' thinking is undergoing this urban renewal process. And it's being done in an environment of love. You know, we have the Two of Cups here. So whether this is a supportive relationship that's actually helping, get through this process, or a new partnership. It could be a new appreciation for the relationships that you do have in your life, regardless of whether they're romantic or familial, friendship. In your hopes and fears, you have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords isn't quite as scary as this guy. This one's more endearing and, whimsical, almost, in comparison. So it's like, that's kind of where you're hoping to keep it, in that clear truth. But, the sort of, I've often said to people who say the truth hurts, that honesty is actually a greater form of, or a higher expression of truth, because it implies that there's kindness interwoven with it, to me. So, it could also be Scorpio is transitioning from using this particular form of communication and striving for this form of communication. Definitely one of those people. In your final outcome, we have a successful partnership that's building the foundations, which is supported in other parts of your reading. And that the hidden ground in the background of Scorpio is that there's a very mature and loving energy that's surrounding you right now. And so regardless of all of this inner work, there is love around you, there's support, and even in the times where you may be expressing yourself in this way, as long as you're trying to express yourself in this way, you're likely to have yourself a happy home environment, a stable foundation to build the rest of your dreams out of. But you've got to make this happen. And you've also, got to make sure that you're spending enough time in this state, becoming illuminated by the voice that's within. So Scorpio, I hope you found this reading helpful, and we'll see you again.